reportedly close to finalizing the first phase of a new funding round, likely to bring in more than $100 billion, a record-breaking financing deal. Joining me now is Bolvin Wealth Management Group President Gina Bolvin. Gina, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. How would you assess markets today and the sentiment around the AI fears that we've seen?
Hi, good morning, Maria. I think the AI fears are overblown, and I agree with Jensen Huang, the president of NVIDIA, that the idea that AI is going to overtake the software sector and put a lot of these companies out of business. He called it illogical. You know, the software sector is growing earnings by 10%. These companies are making money. I think it's a good entry point into technology, and I think investors should put some money to work in the tech sector. And I also think coming off Valentine's Day, we need to show this earnings season some love. It's been underappreciated. We've had 5 straight quarters of double digits earnings growth for the market, S&P 500, and we expect these earnings numbers to continue to be positive, continue to be double digits, really based on all the AI spend, $700 billion that's making its way into the market. Lower rates are trickling down to the consumer. That's going to spur consumer spending, and a lot of stimulus is coming later in the year from the One Big Beautiful Bill. So we're very bullish on the market, and this year is going to be based on strong earnings growth.
Yeah, and that's what we're expecting to hear from the president Tuesday night as well, by the way. Now, you mentioned putting money into tech. What about retail? We're waiting on Walmart to report fourth quarter earnings this morning. They'll report in the next hour, 7 a.m. The company has crossed the $1 trillion market value this month. Amazing moves for this company, and analysts are expecting earnings to be up 10%, driven by e-commerce growth, surging ad business, and gains with high-income shoppers, prompting management to raise guidance twice already. We're looking at whether AI-driven supply chains and logistics and digital investments can justify this premium valuation. What's your take on Walmart, and what about all the other retailers reporting next week? You've got Home Depot, Lowe's, TJX, all on deck in terms of earnings there. What's your take?
You know, Walmart's a very interesting stock. It's more like a consumer staples as opposed to retail, Maria. 60% of their revenue is groceries. And you're right, it has a PE over 40. It's richly valued.
Is that expensive?
Good earnings.
Do you think that's gotten expensive?
It is expensive.
Yeah.
You know, it is expensive. When you look at the tech sector, the valuations, PE on the tech sector is 25. Walmart, which has less earnings growth, is at 40. But for a reason, it's been a good stock. It's up 15% this year. I don't think it's going to be that much of a market mover. I think the big market mover is earnings next week when we hear from NVIDIA.
Yeah, so what do you want to buy NVIDIA ahead of the quarter?
I don't know. Why not? I think so. I like generally the tech sector. I think there's strong earnings growth, and if you're a long-term investor, I think there is some value in NVIDIA versus a Walmart.
Yeah. Cheryl, I guess Walmart is looking at the high-end earner,
right?
Going there with this whole affordability push. What's your take on Walmart?
She's especially with the 60% of revenue coming from groceries. That is where we've seen the strength for Walmart, and that's where they continue to deliver the e-commerce, the delivery platforms. We have seen double-digit growth in that sector as well. That's going to be key. And also, you've got the leadership change for Walmart. You spoke with Doug McMillon about that. So obviously, Maria, there's going to be a lot of focus on kind of forward guidance. I think the quarter is going to be what it is, but I think the guidance picture is going to be the interesting. And also, what are the plans for the company under the new leader?
Yeah, we've got some macroeconomic data out, Gina, as well. Take a look at interest rates this morning. We heard from the Fed yesterday with the minutes from the January meeting, and it was interesting the split that you saw on rates. Some officials now saying that an interest rate hike could be on the table. Others want further progress on inflation before considering a cut. We've got the first read on fourth quarter GDP out tomorrow morning. Economists are looking for 3% annualized growth. And then, of course, the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, the December PCE index, also out tomorrow morning. Economists expecting an increase of 0.3% or 2.8% year over year. Gina, your assessment of the Fed right now with that split that, you know, some are worried that if inflation doesn't show some serious moves downward, they would even consider hiking interest rates after the 3 cuts we saw last year.
I don't think we're going to see interest rate hikes this year, Maria. The Fed is
I
really
don't either,
focused
but
on.
just the fact that it even came up in the meeting.
Yes. So I saw the minutes, and, there were some hawkish comments, but they didn't publish those comments. We're expecting the Fed to cut rates 2 to 3 times this year. Inflation is in check. And I think that this year the Fed is really focused on the labor market and not necessarily inflation. And, we do see some cuts coming. But the market is going to be driven this year, not so much by the Fed, but by earnings growth. And I think inflation is behind us.
That's good. I mean, that's what you want to see, right? Fundamentals driving the story.
Exactly.
All right, Gina, great to see you. Thanks so much. Gina Bolvin on Markets this morning. We'll take a break and come right back. Stay with us.
Tonight, the future of